G'day all, it's Colin from PCTLC and thanks for joining me. In this video we're going to be looking at Peppermint OS. I'm not going to refer to it as Peppermint 11. I believe they've gone to rolling, so there's no longer going to be a Peppermint 11. So this is the new era of Peppermint. So let's just check that out. So it says, say hello to our latest lightweight, stable and super fast operating system based on Debian Bullseye and using the XFCE 4.16 desktop. Peppermint has migrated into its own continuous delivery OS, which I think means rolling. I interpret that as a rolling distro now. Based on the Debian Bullseye repositories, giving you the option to pull from testing if you like, and we believe this will appeal to new and experienced Linux users. Now, I'm highlighting that one, and you'll probably find out why I'm highlighting that as we go through the video. I've just got some questions with this here. I'm thinking, I do follow Peppermint on Facebook, and I do remember, I think not long after Mark Greaves passed away, and this Mark Greaves, it was the lead developer for Peppermint for many years. Unfortunately, he had passed away, which was very sad, and Peppermint was sort of looking like it was left out there with nowhere to go, but someone has picked up the project and taken it on board. Now, I remember reading on Facebook, so I'm pretty sure it was on Facebook that I seen the comment, and I think it might have been from the developer, that the developer has a full-time job and with every bit of spare time will be working on Peppermint. Now, I know what it's like just making a YouTube video, working full-time, trying to find time to create videos. It's not easy. So I'd have to think that, first of all, having based Peppermint from Ubuntu to Debian wouldn't have been an easy task, I don't think. That would have been probably a pretty big task to take on. So it looks like they've done that. And I have to think that they got to a point where it's probably usable, and I'd have to think that maybe the developer has probably had enough of people asking when Peppermint's coming out. They've probably got it to a point where it's usable, they've got plans, and they're going to implement those plans as they go along. It's a rolling distro, so they'll do that. So I'd have to think that so people don't continue to ask what's happening with Peppermint, where's it going, what's it doing, is it going to be released? Probably got a bit of itchy feet and thought, put it out there in the wild and see how we go. And probably not a bad idea. They'll get all the positive and negative feedback, I suppose, on what's happening with Peppermint. Now, I've been a big fan of Peppermint, runs on my HP there. I've taken it everywhere. I've been on holidays and that. Never let me down, runs well. It's been on that HP, I think I said in another video, since Peppermint 7, or my previous video anyway. So on occasions, I don't use it for long periods. Sometimes I start it up, I update it. It's always worked and never been a problem. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm not going to do an install. It uses the Calamares installer. There's plenty of videos. There's a lot of videos out on YouTube at the moment on how to install Peppermint. So look, if you want me to do an install, I can do that very quickly. Let me know and I shall do that. It's not a problem. But first of all, we're going to look at setting up this distro. I've got a fresh install on VirtualBox here. We're going to run through a few things on VirtualBox. I've got it installed on real hardware right here on my Toshiba laptop. What I'm going to do on VirtualBox, really the things I will be doing have no impact on whether it's a VM or real hardware. It's just installing software support and things like that. So real hardware or virtual machine, it really doesn't matter. So for me, it's easier to use the virtual machine. And the reason for that is because I've got a snapshot here of a fresh install of Peppermint. So when we go and look at things, we're going to put it back to a fresh install and then try something else. And we're going to see how Peppermint handles the install of software. So that's the angle I'm coming at with Peppermint at the moment. And we're going to see how we go with that. So first of all, we have our welcome screen. So let's bring that back up. It normally, I haven't told it to not start up. So first of all, we got on top here, install a web browser. So let's click on install a web browser. And we get these options here. Now there's some software here and there's browsers here. Now, if you're going to have a button that says install web browsers, I would think it's probably best just to keep it as web browsers. You do have this select software packages also in the Peppermint Hub, which is here, and select packages. So I'd have to think it's better to make these packages and just keep the install web browser just web browsers. Probably best. These observations, don't forget, probably just suggestions as well. From what I see from a lot of other welcome screens that I use and setups that I do, I would have to think that, to be honest, front and center on Peppermint in the PeppHub should be the update manager. I would actually have that as the first button in your welcome screen is the update manager. Even though I'm contradicting myself here because sometimes I forget to do that. But when you forget to do that, it's because if you're running Arch Linux and all that, there's no welcome screens for that. And sometimes you can forget to do it. So if there's a welcome screen that pops up and, you know, the first button is update manager, then people will update before they do anything, which is probably more important than anything else. So let's quickly have a look at this update manager and put in my password. And away it goes. An observation here. It would have been nice to have some output of that telling us that it's up to date, because just disappearing like that, new users would have questions. They believe this will appeal to new and experienced users. So I will come back to that. A new user would probably be wondering what happened just then. It looked like it was doing all right and then it's just disappeared. I think it needs to stay up and say all software is up to date. Press enter to close the screen, which a lot of other things do. So I think it should do that. It's important that it does that. And that probably should be the first thing we do. So that's just a suggestion there or an observation that I've noticed. So let's go back to install a web browser, because at the end of the day, probably actually I should just quickly go through these. You got your favorites there, the Welcome to Peppermint and Peppermint Hub. You got accessories. What have we got? Mousepad, Task Manager, Application Finder, Archive Manager, Clipboard Manager, Disks, which is the GNOME disk for doing things with partitions and so forth, files, and menu editor. So that menu editor is probably going to be very important as well. Development, just icon browsers there. Internet, you've just got the ICE application for creating site-specific browsers, which means you can set your favorite bank login and just run it as like an application on your desktop. That's how that works. Multimedia is just pulse audio. Then you got your settings, which will be pretty much the XFCE settings. And then you got system. You've got a deconf editor there. You've got GDebi package installer. Gparted. Gparted is also another application for doing things with partitioning your disk and so forth, which is the same as disks, which was in accessories. Print settings, Synaptic package manager. Now that's another one. So let's have a look at the Synaptic package manager in the PeppHub in system and software. I believe that this Synaptic package manager should be under this tab here, because it's another form of installing software. So you've got the Snap Store, select packages, which is like a curated set of packages from Peppermint themselves, PeppHub, GNOME Store, and AppImage. I really think it would be an advantage to Peppermint to have this Synaptic package manager under this system software tab in Peppermint Hub. Would be a great idea. If you're going to be having a Peppermint Hub and you're going to have software included or software support included in that, I would think it would be a good idea to have Synaptic package manager in there. So we're going to go back to web browser. Sorry, I'm jumping a little bit around here. So the ones which are darkened are already installed. Then you've got a document viewer, transmission, BitTorrent downloader, P-mount, standard mount program. Haven't heard of that one before. Must be you can mount ISOs. GPIC view, image viewer, parole media player, Mate calculator, Snap package, platform, Flatpak, GNOME software, and YouTube DL. Now, for the web browsers, I'm a bit surprised they don't have Vivaldi in there. I would have thought that's popular enough to be in there, and probably Brave as well. Maybe that's some things that they will be looking at in the future, I'd have to think. Now, as we all know, if you've been watching videos around, if you install this Firefox here, it's going to be the 78 ESR. That's an old version, and it's an extended support release, which Debian always runs an extended support release of Firefox. But this one's going to be a real outdated version, which a lot of people have been talking about. So it's probably, I noticed on the Peppermint website under the blog is upgrading Firefox for a single user. So they've got some options there to do so. We can probably run through that. And I'll also link you to a video from Esnix, who done some great little tutorials on installing the latest Firefox in Peppermint as well. And I'll probably show you that. I'm just going to do it slightly different. So at the moment, I'm not going to install anything here. You've got your Peppermint Extras. Now you've got Peppermint themes, and then you can install. Another observation I'm going to make here. I don't know how much work it is for the Peppermint team, but if you're trying to keep the ISO fairly lightweight and down in size, so we've kept all the themes out of the ISO and put them here as an option to install. I just want to make an observation, or maybe even a suggestion, that can we make these so they're installed individually? So it's no good having them not in the ISO, then forcing us to download the whole lot, because some people might not want all of this. They may just want certain themes. Somebody might only want red or just the aqua dark, but they don't want everything else. So just a suggestion there. So let's cancel that. I'm not going to install those. I've already done that. They install fine. It's not a problem. Peppermint icons, same deal. It'd be nice if we could select individual icons and just install the icons that we want and not bloat the system with the whole lot. Maybe that's something Peppermint also was looking at in the future. That's why I say maybe this was just a get it out there release and see what happens and deal with all the pros and cons afterwards. So I'm just having a look at these things and suggesting or just observing, and that may be something Peppermint can look at in the future. And they may be even doing that anyway. And then you've got your Peppermint wallpaper and install, cancel that. Same deal. Maybe if they could have a link to a website where they've got some pictures, even with the themes and the icons, maybe, so it's not on the ISO, or just some little maybe have some small images of the wallpapers or link to a website that's got the images. So, and then have them all as being selected as individuals that you would like to install. So once again, you're not bloating the system with all this other stuff that you don't want. So I think the same things that I'm saying applies to all of these ones here. And then you've got a tutorial on the ICE application, which takes you to a website. And that's just a tutorial on how to use the site-specific browser. It's a fairly simple process, really. And then we've got the PeppHub. Now you've got a shortcut to the PeppHub here. So first of all, we've got users and tweaks, network and hardware, and system software. So pretty much, let's have a quick look at this. Let's just go to the XFCE settings. Now, what's in the settings is probably everything that's in this Peppermint Hub. Let's have a look. We've got appearance, which is here. There's no clipboard manager settings. Desktop, there's no desktop either. Notifications, there's notification settings here. Panels here. There's no window manager or window manager tweaks. I didn't see workspaces either. No workspaces. No XFCE terminal settings. No color profiles. You do have display, which is here. Keyboard is here. Mouse and touchpad. I'm pretty sure we've seen that. Or did we? Yes, it's here. Power Manager is here. Removable drives and media, I don't think that's in there. Accessibility is there. Default applications is there. Session and startup, I don't think I've seen that, or did we? No, and settings editor. So as you can see, not everything. Oh, settings editor might be this one here, maybe. Or is that a link to settings? It's a link to the settings itself. Okay. So not everything that's in the XFCE settings is in the Peppermint Hub. Probably just the main things to probably get you up and running that you might. It's probably things that are important to the system to get you started. So that's those things there. And then we've got systems and software. So we've already looked at select packages. We've got system information there. We've looked at the update manager. Now we've got the snap store. Now let's have a quick look. Let's open a terminal. Let's do a snap. I think it's -- list, I think. Snap command not found. I'm going to have to, that's used the browser from my main system at the moment. Snap list. So that's what we want to do. Snap list. I don't use snaps much, so I just had to check that out. Snap list. Snap command not found. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on Snap Store. Oh, I don't have internet, do I? So we may, I may be forced to actually do that first. So that's probably why they've got install a web browser up top, but I still think update first would be better. So I was watching Esnix's video and I thought while I'm on the trail of doing bash scripts, I might just do a quick one to do exactly what he did. Properties first, permissions, yep. So open in terminal like so. Well, actually, first of all, let's have a quick look. Open with mousepad. So I've commented out all of these ones here and just kept the Firefox one here. So I'm going to make a directory called applications, and then we're going to download that from the website. This is the latest Firefox, not ESR, the latest Firefox, and it's going to do all that. So that's what we're going to do. So let's open in terminal, run that /br and tab that, enter. Probably need a bit of a darker background, I think. Let's put that up here. So I'm going to select A, and we're going to watch that in the home directory create a file called applications. Hopefully that's what it does. And there's the applications folder there. It's going to download Firefox. It's going to put it into the applications. It's going to extract it within the applications folder as well. That's how I've set it up, and I've named it a .tar.xz so I can extract it. I know the command for that, so that's what I used. Now I was going to have some output there. I haven't decided what my output's going to be yet, but so let's go within the applications, and there's Firefox, and there's the Firefox there. So what we're going to do is go to the menu editor, which is already installed on Peppermint. We're going to do that. I'm not really keen on doing desktop entries, to be honest. So what we're going to do under Internet, let's select Internet, and we're going to create, should tell us there. We'll click on it first, add launcher. So that's what we're going to do, add a launcher. The new launcher is going to be called Firefox. So we name that there. The command will go to Documents, Home, Applications, Firefox folder, and we look for Firefox, which is the program, Firefox, and OK that. And we're going to click Save Launcher. Actually, no, we're going to do an icon as well. So let's browse icons and see if we've got a Firefox icon there anywhere. Oh, there we go, Firefox. Apply that and save. You can put a small description here if you want. A secure web browser. You can criticize me for that if you want. I don't know. Sounds good anyway. So let's that's already saved. Let's enter that, and it's already saved, so that's okay. So now within Internet we've got Firefox. So let's open up Firefox, make sure it's working, and it certainly is. So that's all good. And let's have a look at About, Help, and About Firefox. Firefox 97, Firefox is up to date. Nice. So now let's go back to PeppHub, System and Software Snap Store. Let's click on that. Doesn't appear to be doing anything. Maybe we need to close that and start it back up again. Favorites, Peppermint Hub, System and Software, and Snap Store. I might just do a quick log out. I don't know, those they're not working. All right, so one can assume that if that link's not working, then we need to install Snap. So let's go to PeppHub, select packages. I'm going to shut down. I'm going to take a snapshot. We're going to take a snapshot here. Firefox installed. Let's do that. So we've done that. And then we can come back to that one there if we need to. So let's start the VM back up. Okay, so we've done a reboot. So let's just check that link doesn't work. Check AppImage. So these links here are not working. Snap Store, FlatHub, Gnome Store, and AppImage. So let's go to select packages. And let's install Snap. Install selected. So we can probably close that now. It says it's done. So let's repeat the Snap list. No snaps are installed, but let's try, I think it's Snap install. Let's try Telegram -desktop. I know that's a Snap. And I think we're just about getting there. Snaps and Flatpaks, they take a while on the first install anyway. After that, shouldn't be so bad. So apparently that's Telegram installed. So let's check that out. And there's Telegram desktop. And there's Telegram, no problem at all, installed. So now does this Snap link work? All right, so that link doesn't work. So I'm going to just stop this video for a minute. I'm going to install Firefox on my real hardware, and I'm going to check that link on real hardware to see whether this is a VirtualBox issue or whether the link's just not working. So I'll be back shortly. Okay, so real hardware or VM, those links there are not working. So maybe that's a future project for Peppermint to be using these things here. So that's probably a work in progress, I'd have to think. So I come back to this again, new and experienced users now. I think new users, to be honest, will be probably struggling with this sort of thing if they don't know what the software is all about. Now, as you can see, Snap package is darkened. So the darkened items are already installed. Packages are from Debian repositories. So I'd have to think that on the PeppHub, this is going to be probably a link to take you to the Snap store, so you can browse the Snap store to see what packages you could possibly install, because you'd have to find out the name of the package as well, as you could see when I installed the desktop, install Telegram-desktop. I know that because I've installed it many times, but a new user would not know how to input that information. So I suppose the other interesting thing would be if we installed the GNOME software, let's install that, and check whether there is any sort of support for snaps within the GNOME software. So at this point I'm going to do a reboot. We'll restart the system. It's always a good idea with the GNOME software, I believe. It probably might just pick it up straight away, but I just prefer to do a reboot. So we can click on here, don't show again, if we don't want that showing again. I'm going to keep that showing for now. Now we're going to look for software. There we go, GNOME software. Let's see if it populates anything in the background. Let's go shopping. Software catalog is being downloaded. Okie doke. So now we've got the software installed. Repositories, let's have a look. Does it show us repositories? Probably not. Install, does it show us Telegram desktop? No. Telegram, so that's from Peppermint, so that would be from the Debian 11 repos, and there's no Snap support here. All right, so we're going to have a look, let's see, apt search GNOME software plugin. Let's see if we can find something there. So GNOME software plugin-snap, let's try that. So sudo apt install, and we're going to install, see there's the Flatpak support, so we're going to install the Snap support. GNOME software plugin-snap, let's do that. Okay, so let's open the software again. Restart. All right, so let's have a look at the, do we get software repositories now? No, we don't. So let's check out Telegram, see what it finds. Telegram desktop, if we open that up under installed, that's from the Snap store. So you got the Peppermint. Now you're getting all these options here. Latest and stable, latest and edge. Okay, that's, in my last video I was chatting about whether there are other branches. Now there is for Snap. I don't know about Flatpak, but I don't understand why that didn't find that in a search. So I did a search for Telegram and it doesn't find it. Oh, there we go now. So it's probably, if this happens to you, just wait a bit because it's probably still populating. It says it's installed. So if we have a look under installed, we don't have a lot of packages here under installed. Telegram showing up there. So I'll just search for that again. And there we go. Some other telegrams here, but that was the main one anyway, Telegram-desktop. See, this is where the problem lies, and I have a problem with this, not just with Peppermint, but across the Linux distros, across all Linux distros, to be honest. It's frustrating. If you talk about new users, and we're in the Software Center, if we go to Peppermint Hub and go to Select Packages, at the point of selecting Snap Package Platform, surely we can put that little command in the gnome-software-plugin-snap. Why can that not be installed at the same time? Surely that's possible with today's technology. So I'm not just criticizing Peppermint here, because this happens on a lot of distros. That should be out of the box. A new user is not going to know how to get this support unless they're asking on the forums. So now I'm sure that a lot of distros have bug reports and things like that. I'm sure they don't need to be clogged up with simple questions like how to get a snap installed. It's not showing up. How do I get it? It's not in the software. I installed the software, it's not showing up. I installed Snap, it's not there. I don't know the name of this particular application. How do I install it? Surely the distros don't want their bug reports to have all these simple questions clogging up the system with something that could be sort of installed at that point in time. That happens across all Linux distros. I don't know why that command just can't be put in with the Snap install as well. Just a followed command. But if you are looking at how to get support for the GNOME software for snaps, that's how you do it. But once again, I come back to this comment here that Peppermint have made new. This will appeal to new and experienced users. I'm not sure whether they really meant to put that there or not. They might want to revisit that. The only thing I can say is that the Peppermint team are going to appeal to new users. They've only just released this one. It's the new era of Peppermint. It's rolling distro, or what they called a continuous delivery OS. So they've probably got some plans in the pipeworks where they're going to probably make this process a lot easier for new users. And that statement's probably just there because that's their goal, and that's what they want to. That's the goal they want to reach. So I have to think that's what that's all about. So I'll stop harping on that, or I'll stop nagging about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to shut down. Let's shut down the system. We're going to go back to this snapshot here and restore. Firefox installed. Let's restore that. Cancel that. That's restore that. And I don't want to create another snapshot. I've got it on camera, so I don't need another snapshot of that. So let's start this back up again. And what we're going to do is we're going to do Flatpaks this time. So let's go to System and Software, select Packages. And you'll probably find that none of those are installed now because we've restored a snapshot of just Firefox installed. So now what we're going to do is install Flatpak. So that's Flatpak installed. Flatpak list, I think it is. And there's nothing there. Telegram-desktop. Sorry, that's my fault. Flatpak's a little bit different. It is, I should know that. I've made a bash script for this, but I forgot about that. It's org.telegram.desktop. That's the one. Okay, so this is what we need to do now. Is it Flatpak? FlatHub, quick setup, and let's go to Debian. So what would have happened there is, so when we selected Flatpak packages platform, what it's done is installed Flatpak. That's all it's done. It didn't install the GNOME software plugin, and it didn't install the remote. So let's do this one here. Let's paste that into there and enter. So we need to restart probably. So let's do a restart. Let's do a session restart. Let's do that. Then maybe that's the problem. Okay, so let's do that command again. Flatpak install Telegram desktop, and now it's right to go. So don't know whether it was right to go before I added that command or not. So let's do that. Yes, and yes. So like I was saying, we would have, when we installed Flatpak packages, would have done this command here. I still don't think we would have been able to install a Flatpak until we added this one. So this is the other problem. See, to complete setup, you need to restart your system. So you've got to run through this. The GNOME software, not so much. You can install from terminal without having the GNOME software plugin there. It's only for the Flatpaks to show up in the GNOME software. That's all that's for. But this one, definitely you need to have that installed to install Flatpaks, I believe. So add the FlatHub repository. So it's the best place to get Flatpak apps to enable it to run. So what I'm saying here is, at this point of installation, maybe it should run these three commands. It's or at least the top one and the bottom one. It should run minimum those two to have all that installed without all the messing around, going to the website, looking for that. If it can be done straight off the bat with just selecting this, that would be great. So Telegram desktop is installed. Let's check that out. Let's look at the menu. Telegram desktop, and there's Telegram desktop. So that's installed, no problem. We don't have GNOME software, so we'll install that. So let's go back to select packages. Let's do the GNOME software, install that. And that is done, as you can see down the bottom here, done. Let's close that. Let's open up GNOME software. Let's go shopping. So here we are in the software center. Let's look for Telegram, see if it shows up. And that's from the Peppermint repositories because we don't have the plugin installed. So we're looking for the apt search dash plugin, enter that. I've spelt GNOME wrong, haven't I? Let's do that again. Let's change that. Oh my goodness. GNOME software plugin. And there we go. So the GNOME software plugin dash flatpak. So sudo apt install gnome software plugin flatpak. Let's do that. Okay, it's as simple as that. That's done. So let's open up software again and restart. So let's do a search for Telegram. There's Telegram desktop there, and that is from FlatHub. And then you got the Peppermint packages here, which will be Debian 11 Bullseye packages, but the Flatpak packages will be more up to date, no doubt. So back to the Peppermint Hub, software, select packages. So back to software packages, going to install Snap again, install that. And once you've got these two installed, Snaps and Flatpaks, there's a lot of choices for people to install software. And as you can see down the bottom, it says done. The other thing we're going to do is install the plugin for Snap, the GNOME software plugin for Snap. Let's do that. And yes, that's done. Give the system a reboot. I like to reboot just to make sure everything's refreshed, up to date. So opening up GNOME software once again. Now it's got to populate probably the Snap packages for that. So now we have populated everything. Let's check it out. Let's do a search for Zoom. Actually, let's do Telegram again. See what results we get for Telegram. Now this may take a little while to populate this search. Okay, so now what we've got here is we've got Telegram from FlatHub. Still not showing anything from Snaps. That's from the Snap Store, so it comes up here. So you've got Snap Store. Okay, so you've got options for the Snap Store there. So between Snap and Flatpak, there are plenty of options to install applications. Let's do a quick search for Zoom. So now we have, and this is another thing I've got when it comes to searching in the GNOME software. You'd expect to find Zoom down the bottom. There is another Zoom down here. There's a Zoom client there, and there's a Zoom here. So this one here is, where's that from? FlatHub. And then you've got another one down here, and that's from Snap Store. So Zoom from Snap Store. Latest beta, latest candidate, latest stable, latest edge. So Snap seems to have a lot more options than Flatpak when it comes to running versions. So then you've got AppImages. AppImages can be downloaded to the desktop, and all you need to do is double click it and it runs. So if we browse all apps, I don't know if they've got a search here or not. I haven't been here for a long time. Browse all apps. Maybe they've got a search field in there. Search categories. All right, so I've found Gimp here. I'm not really impressed with the AppImage Hub. It doesn't have a search field unless I've gone mad and I can't find a search field. One thing is, if you go to Kdenlive, if you need Kdenlive, they offer an AppImage download link on their website anyway. But let's have a look at this one. Find something we can relate to. So that's Gimp, photo Gimp, files 1. Maybe just need to do just a search. Photo Gimp AppImage, let's download that. So it's 141 megabytes in size. So that'll go to our downloads, and that is complete. Downloads. Let's cut that and put it into applications. Paste that where Firefox is. Right click that, go to properties, permissions, and allow executing file as program. Double click that. Would you like to integrate applications with your system? Yes. And that should come up, I believe, in the menu. I don't know what Gimp this is. It's not the Gimp that I'm used to, that's for sure. And there you go, it's running. It's not the actual Gimp that I know. About Gimp 2.10.21. Somebody else is obviously offering this as an app image. And I'm hoping that it's in the menu, and there's Gimp in the menu. And it's as simple as that for an app image. So I'd like to think that this is what these links will offer in the future in Peppermint. I'm not convinced of the new user at this point in time. I'd have to think that they've got new users in their sites. This is the first release of the new Peppermint era, and they're going to be moving forward and hopefully integrating a few new things to help with new users on the desktop. At the moment, I don't see it to be new user friendly at this point, and I'm hoping that that will change in future development, being a rolling release. So I've heavily focused on software in this video because very much that's what it's all about. You've got everything there as far as the system's concerned. They haven't given you anything as far as software is concerned. Build it yourself and install the applications you want. They haven't given you anything that you really don't want. The other thing that's very helpful as well as the ICE application. Now, sometimes I get my images from Pixabay and they're free to use and so forth. Some of them are paid for. But if I wanted to, instead of searching online, I could copy that URL, go to ICE. So that needs either Google Chrome or Chromium in order. I thought it used Firefox anyway. That's interesting. Let's just go Pixabay. I think it should work. Enter the web address, paste that in there, and select use the site favicon if it's got one, and it's not letting me apply. So I need Chromium installed. That's very interesting. Go back to select packages. I'm very sure that ICE never used to be dependent on Chromium. I'm pretty sure and you used to be able to use just Firefox, but I may be wrong about that. I'm not sure. So that's done, that's installed Chromium. So let's try ICE once again. Let's open that up. Internet, ICE. It's not picking up that Firefox is installed on the system, so I'm not sure how we do that. That's because we downloaded Firefox and installed it as a binary. Well, we haven't installed it, we're just running it as a binary. So it hasn't actually picked up that Firefox is installed. So that's another thing that Peppermint need to probably look at. So that's paste, in there. Name it Pixabay. This is just an example. I don't normally do this with Pixabay anyway. Use site favicon, it's not there. We'll just leave it as ICE for now. Apply that. Pixabay, and now it's opened like an application on the desktop, and I don't have to open a browser and go searching for my bookmarks and whatever. It just opens up straight away into Pixabay. I do this with my banking. That's what I mainly use web apps for, is my banking, but you can use it for like Google Docs, your Excel, your Word. You can just link that to, you can link it to ICE. You can open it like a desktop application, even though you're using Google Docs online, or even Microsoft, whatever. All you need is to open it up and paste in the link once it's opened. So if you're using Microsoft Word or online Word or Excel or Google Docs or however that works, once it's open and you've opened Excel or Word or whatever it is, then just copy the link and you can open it up just like that as a desktop app. If they're going to continue down the path that they are at the moment, I really do believe Peppermint need to put some sort of documentation on the desktop to explain to new users how to get software installed, because I think a new user is going to be completely lost. And there's absolutely nothing here at all on first install. There's nothing. There's no software, there's no nothing. So a new user is definitely going to be lost at this point in time. But I'm hoping that Peppermint are looking at definitely implementing some new stuff as they're rolling along. For people like myself and advanced users, it's not an issue installing things we want in here. Actually, I find it pretty good to have nothing there and I can just install the things that I need, and I'd be happy with that anyway. Because quite often you get a distro or you install a distro and it's got things there that you really don't want to use, so that's an advantage here for an advanced user. And of course the other way to install software is with the Synaptic Package Manager. Now the Synaptic Package Manager is another, it's in between software and terminal. It's not sort of, doesn't have the bling that the software has, that the GNOME software has, and it's not just completely text-based like the terminal. So if you go to Origin, you can have a look under, let's full screen that, and you can have a look at the security, the unstable. If we did a search for Firefox, you'll probably find that Firefox ESR 78 is in here. Firefox 96 is in here. You can install it from the Synaptic Package Manager. So that's interesting as well. But the one that we installed was 97. But if you want it integrated better, so let's do that. Let's go to the menu again, menu editor, Internet, Firefox. We're going to hide this one from the menu, so let's do that. Save that, and let's look at the menu for Firefox. It's not there. Firefox is not there. So let's install, right click and mark for installation. Oh, so it has unresolvable dependencies. So it's got a dependency issue. So that's the problem there. But if we was to search for Gimp, there's Gimp there, 2.10.22-4. That's reasonably up to date. Gimp doesn't change that often. But yeah, the Firefox is an issue with the dependencies there. So that's just another option of installing software as well in Peppermint with the Synaptic package manager. Firefox seems to be a bit of an issue in Peppermint at the moment, so hopefully that can be sorted. There are some guides on the Peppermint blog on how to install Firefox, so I'll put a link for that down below so you can check that out. I might even try that myself. This video is getting a bit long. I think the developer's done a great job up to now to rebase this from Ubuntu to Debian. That must have been a fair bit of work on its own. So they've got the distro out, they've released it. Yep, it's definitely not user-friendly at this point, I wouldn't think. If a new user that's never used Linux before decided to put Peppermint in, I think they'd be a little bit lost on installing software. But benefit of the doubt here, I think we're going to have to see where Peppermint goes moving forward into the future. I would have to hope that the developers got plans on implementing some more user-friendly ways of installing software for new users. I hope that's the plan anyway. Maybe it's not. Maybe they're just looking at advanced users. I'm not sure. But the new users' comment on their web page suggests that that's probably their goal long term. That's probably why it's on their website. It's just not at that point at the moment. They've released it. They've got it out there. They're probably looking for the pros and cons, a little bit of feedback to see what they can do to improve it. So I hope that this video can help Peppermint in the feedback area. So anyway, that was PeppermintOS, new era. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting and informative, and thanks for watching.